everybody, it's your girl Nisha, aka Nisha the Voice, coming in for another edition of Industry Conversations One-on-One. I'm alone again tonight, but however, we got a great show for you all as always. Tonight, I have Mr. Thompson, Mr. Perry Thompson, that will basically be in with me tonight. That we will talk about preservation of Black culture in the music industry today. So he's hailing from Atlantic City, New Jersey, and he'll be speaking to me about his new nonprofit organization that I think that you all would love to hear about, as well as to find out how we can preserve Black culture in entertainment today. I think on a few shows back, we were talking about Black culture in the entertainment industry and how it is slipping away, especially with the AMAs canceling Chris Brown's tribute to Michael Jackson. So there's a lot of different things I think that the industry or the entertainment industry, so to speak, are trying to do to our Black culture. And I think a little bit trying to dumb it down a little bit and make it more pop. We don't see a lot of soulful music as we used to, as we see a lot of pop music that is pretty much in the forefront now as not as much as R&B. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and we're going to definitely get into some entertainment news before we bring Mr. Thompson on. Shouts out to Fantasia for her newfound sisterhood of Sigma Gamma Rho. Now, I'm a part of the D9 as well, but I won't throw any shade tonight. But however, kudos to her. I think you go where you feel most comfortable. But there was some shade that was thrown on the Instagram that I will put out there because she did, however, put out there that she had interest in DST. So at the end of the day, you have to be careful of some of the things that you're putting out in the open, especially of where you have interest, because of course it will come to bite you. This is social media. People will pull up posts that you put up 10, 15 years ago. Okay. So be careful about those things. Also, shouts out to Angela Bassett, who is also making history again this year at the 2023 Golden Globes, as she has been nominated for Best Actress in Motion Picture, in which I think Angela Bassett has done an amazing job of representing African American women in the film industry. She is carrying that torch well and looking good doing it as well. So shouts out to her as well. So before we bring Mr. Thompson on, we're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back after this.
What's up, y'all? It's the legendary Sweet Tea, and I'm rocking with Nisha the Voice and DJ Gates on the Industry Combo 101 podcast.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you, Sweet Tea, for doing that for us as well here in Industry Conversations 101. I just love her. Well, we're going to bring Mr. Perry Thompson on in the room. How are you doing, sir?
Good evening. How you doing? Thanks for having me on your show.
Yes. As I said, like our topic tonight, of course, is preservation of Black culture in the entertainment industry. And you have a nonprofit organization, the Rhythm and Blues Preservation Society in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it is a nonprofit. The Rhythm and Blues Preservation Society is a nonprofit organization that preserves the culture of Black music. I'm the president and CEO of the organization. And the reason why I wanted to create an organization like this is because, as you said before, Black music really doesn't really get its respect as it once did. Unfortunately, the way it is now, the culture is really being not really respected. And even though Black music is the biggest music genre in the world, it's still not really being respected. And I wanted to create an organization that honors those in Black music culture, whether it's R&B, jazz, soul, hip hop, reggae, Latin soul, and gospel as well.
Yeah, I think that is amazing. Just as I said before, like on a couple of my shows, we were talking about how they stripped Chris Brown of his performance in the
Yes,
and I think everybody was really looking forward to that performance because it was a tribute to Michael Jackson and the Thriller album. And,
absolutely.
and I think that is a huge accomplishment because the album did a lot for Black culture. And
That
as yeah, and just as Jermaine Dupri said, that Black culture right now is we're in trouble because if they're trying to remove a lot of that from a lot of the shows like the Grammys, they removed a lot of us from the Grammys, they removed a
yes,
lot of us from AMAs, and the only really award shows that we do have representation is the Soul Train Awards and the BET Awards.
yes,
So we don't see a lot of African American culture in these TV shows, especially these award shows, as we should. And just as you said, like the rhythm and blues are probably, the biggest genre of music because a lot of some of these genres originated from this.
absolutely.
So we don't give kudos to James Brown as much as we should. We don't
No,
give kudos to Little Richard as we should. This man died wanting his flowers and wasn't given his flowers or his just due because
no,
because of the fact that people were overlooking what he gave to the industry.
absolutely. And you make a very good point. James Brown, Little Richard, so many great um, artists who contribute to Black music culture really didn't get their roses, and that's what we're all about. We're about honoring those in Black music. It's not about how many records you sold, how many awards you won. If you contribute to Black music culture, we honor you. And because on my social media, I post on Black music culture, and I post artists who are in the 1800s, early 1900s. So in the early blues era, the early jazz era, people never heard about. So you're right. If you're gonna be a part of Black music culture, you have to really understand it, love it, understand who. I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. And
Hmm.
that's why, yes, that's why I wanted to create an organization such as the Rhythm and Blues Preservation Society, because I know I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. I'm standing on the shoulders of James Brown, Little Richard, Laverne Baker, Billie Holiday, Count Basie. So I know I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, and I know that the ancestors are really looking down, and I hope that they appreciate what we're doing and what you're doing as well, acknowledging those and what you in your platform. And you're right. That what they did to Chris Brown at the American Music Awards, that was an insult. I mean, Thriller, Thriller was the biggest selling album
Yes, it was.
of
Yes,
all time, and Michael won multiple awards at the American Music Awards for Thriller.
right. He did. He did. And I think at the end of the day, when artists become aware of how grimy the industry really is, and they decide to take back ownership of what they contributed,
Right,
they want to remove you from everything. You know,
absolutely.
and he exposed the music industry early on, and a lot of people didn't understand where he was coming from. But
Mm,
he exposed the music industry for what they were. How artists were not really receiving their just due. You have artists who have number one albums and don't see a dime of it because the industry is taking majority of it. And I think a lot of people really don't know the blood, sweat, and tears that some of these individuals go
yes,
through to achieve that status.
yes, yes. I interviewed in March Claudette Robinson, who was from the Miracles, Motown era,
Mhm.
and the story she was telling me as far as what they went through, the racism, what they went
Mhm.
when they were on the road, it was just incredible what they went through as far as them paving the way for the Beyoncés and the Fantasias of the world. And a lot of artists who are still, from the 50s and 60s who are still alive, they want their story to be told. They want their story to be heard, because they have a story to tell. And that is why I really enjoy listening to the legends tell their stories. And you're right, they do not own their music, unfortunately, because they would tell Black artists back. then you make more money on the road, which
Mm-hmm.
was not true. You made more money owning your music,
Mm-hmm.
writing your music. And you're right, Michael Jackson knew about controlling his masters. Prince as well, owning his masters. Nita Baker just won her masters back. She owns her music now, her catalog. So
Right.
it's very important that the artists now with the young artists today, they're staying on show with the giants and acknowledge them, and also understand the business aspect of the music industry.
Yes, and you make a great point because a lot of the younger artists that are out now really do not know a lot about the music industry and the business side of it. A lot of them look at the fame, they look at what some of these artists portray to have, and a lot of this stuff is not owned. And we mentioned this on the show probably like sometime last year where we were talking about a lot of these things that you see in videos, they're rented. A lot of
Right.
the homes. Remember MTV Cribs when MTV Cribs came out? A lot of
Yeah.
people thought that these cribs were actually where these people lived, and it was not. It was
Nope.
actually staged because the show actually had these homes for these individuals to portray they lived here. And Redman have exposed this TV show probably about a month ago when he was being interviewed, and he said,
Mm.
"Yeah, so they had these houses for me to pick out, and they wanted me to like pretend like I lived here." He was like, "No, I'm gonna take you to the hood, exactly where I lived at,
Right.
so that
Right.
you can actually get a glimpse of where I live." Because as an artist, yeah, I'm famous, I'm touring the world, but I don't have a mansion like people think that I have. Like I live in this small condo with just a mattress, and I have a roommate and all kind of other stuff. This is how I'm living. This is the truth. And I don't
Mm.
think people really want to hear that of how these artists are really living. A lot of them are
Right.
still living at home with their moms. And I think the realest story that has ever been told thus far was the story of New Edition, and how New Edition didn't really make any money, didn't see any money until they were actually adults.
Yes. Yes. They would absolutely, because they would come back on the road on the tour bus back to the projects. You're right.
Hmm.
You're right. Absolutely right. And we don't. And again, when they get the contracts, they don't really know about publishing, royalty rates. They don't really understand the business, and they just sign it and don't realize what they're signing.
Hmm.
And you're right that you put your blood, sweat, and tears in your career, and you don't see the fruits of your labor. And you're like,
Right.
wow, I'm doing all this work and I don't see the fruits of my labor.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And I remember back in the day, Mr. Thompson, where individuals were, they would tell you you can sell merchandise. You can sell the merchandise at concerts.
Right.
Now it is to the point where the labels are starting to obtain money from the merchandise that they're selling.
Correct.
So now the artists are not really receiving any money from that either.
No,
You know.
no. Yeah, it's like a culture vulture.
Mm-hmm.
It's a culture vulture. They're trying to make every dime off the artist and make sure the artist is not make any money, but still be obligated to them to to commit to making these records. And it's sort of like Prince always said that. Prince fought for that. He fought for owning his music, and
Right.
and I did it. I did a Instagram live on the anniversary of the day that he created the Love Symbol album, which was an important album because that's the album that he decided to be free. He
That's
let
correct.
go of his name and he put the slave on his face, and he
Yeah.
always said, "If you don't own your master, you're still a slave."
Exactly. And I remember when he was talking about it because he was saying to them, "You have to understand, why am I going to pay y'all all this money to do something that I can do for free?
Correct.
All you're paying the label to do is to distribute your music.
That's
So
it.
why are you giving them all of your money just to distribute music? And so
Right.
if it's mine and I wrote it, why do you get to keep it?"
Right.
And I remember that interview because he literally said, like, this is, I wrote it, I played the instruments, you didn't play the instruments, you didn't
Nope.
compose anything, but you
No.
own half of, you own 60 or 70% of what I created.
Right.
And so to him, he was like, how is that fair? How is
Correct.
that fair to me? You know, and I've sold millions of records. This man is a genius, stayed in the studio 24/7 making music.
Yes, he did.
So
Yes, he did.
for him, it was important that he owned his masters because it is his body of work.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
I think that's no more than fair. If it's your body of work and what you composed and what you wrote, you deserve to own that. You're just, and like he said, why can't I just pay you a fee to just distribute my music?
Right. Exactly. Why can I just pay a fee, a percentage of a distribution percentage, of you just distributing my work?
That's
You're
right.
absolutely right. I own the music, but I have no distribution company. Now, that's something that we should create. We should create our own distribution company for all Black artists to work with. If we have our own distribution, we can sign somebody and say, look, okay, you wrote the music, we are a distribution company. Let's work out a deal. Um, if we distribute your CD, we get maybe 10% of distribution rights to your music. We don't own your music, but we get a percentage of distributing your art.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we should do. We should learn about the art, the science of distribution, how to get into the record stores, you know. But even now with the streaming, now it's like, we should create our own. We should have come together and create our own music distribution, digital streaming service for all artists. It's not about fame or anything like that. If you need an outlet to put your music out, here it is. You don't have to, you don't have to feel like you're not making any money off of it, because that's a very important point. This distribution is the key of
Mm-hmm.
putting your art out.
Right, right. Agreed, agreed. So, Mr. Thompson, like, what do you think we could do as a culture to preserve, just as you're doing right now with your nonprofit organization? What can we do as a culture to continue to preserve, our culture, our African American culture in music?
Well, when it comes to as far as Black music culture, um, nowadays the music industry, and particularly radio, I was saying this to another person. You have a legend by the name of Melba Moore, who's a legend,
Yes,
and she has new music out. You don't even hear it on the radio, but it's
nope,
but it's large in the UK. She went number one in the UK,
yes.
but she didn't hear it's not being played. The Manhattans, they're still touring, making records. Delphonics, Stylists still touring. I mean, it's just incredible that um, someone like legendary artists who have new music and who are touring, they're not being promoted right. They're not getting the right sponsorship. I mean, why can't the OJs, Blue Magic, Stylistics get a big sponsor and put a big tour out? Because they
Mm-hmm.
look at them as some people, some people say they look at them as not relevant, and I disagree with that. Nowadays that's what the young people are saying now, that the legends are not relevant in the industry. But I totally disagree with that. Totally
Me too.
disagree with that. Totally disrespect. How can you say that a legend is not relevant in pertaining to their body of work? How can you say it, whether it be hip hop or R&B or jazz? If you are a legend, you are relevant. You are honored. They should honor these artists. Put them on your tour. If you have a tour, why can't you put them on your tour?
Mm-hmm.
It's all about coming together. It's all about coming. Same thing with radio. Have a balance. If you're gonna play something new by Beyonce, now Beyonce had the song out with the Isley Brothers. She did a duet with the Isley Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Make Me Say It Again, Girl.
Yes.
Great, great duet. Okay, come together with the Isley Brothers. Do a big tour. You and the Isley Brothers do a big tour together. You're doing their songs. Put them on your tour. Put them on your worldwide tour. It's all about coming together and balancing everything out. Having the legends and the new people come together, doing new music, come together with tours, but understand that we have to preserve this culture called Black music. Honor those who came before you. Hear their stories. Know that you're standing on the shoulders of giants. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we have to learn. We have to have more documentaries on these legends. We have to
Yes.
do more documentaries, more movies about these legends. You know, learn and young people really have to understand that Black music culture. I mean, look at the Super Bowl this past January, all hip hop, and Mary J. Blige was there, Dr. Dre, Snoop. That was a huge success.
It
It
was.
tells you, it tells you the power of Black music. Black music is the most powerful music genre in the world. Commercials use Black music. Corporations understand that they put Black music in their commercial, it's going to sell. They
Mm-hmm.
know the power of Black music. So we have to embrace everyone and keep this going strong. Preserving our culture, and my organization, the Rhythm Blues Preservation Society. That's what we're all about. And on December 18th will be our Founders Day, our fourth year in existence. It'll be our Founders Day. Um, and we're going to do an IG live on my IG page at Instagram at Perry Thompson, RBPSOC, and anyone can come in and wish us a happy Founders Day on December 18th, and hopefully you can join as well. We want to hear you because I know you're singing as well, and
Right.
you're very, you really speak about the culture of Black music, and anyone can join. And my organization, we're on social media, Facebook at RBPSOC, Twitter at RBPSOC, and TikTok at RBPSOC. I'm always posting about Black music culture, Black music history. I've done lectures in universities. I'm getting ready to do some lectures next year in the public schools because the young people want the young. I feel that the young people need to learn about our culture because
Mm-hmm.
they want to be in the music industry, and that's great. They need to learn two things: learn about Black music culture, and learn about the business aspect. Because a
Right.
lot of our people did not make the money that they should have because they didn't know about the business. They didn't know. So
Mm.
the two, you want to be part of this culture, understand what came before you, and also understand the business aspect of the music industry.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Mr. Thompson, for coming on tonight and actually giving us some insight about your nonprofit organization. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to join your IG Live on the 18th so that I can wish you all a happy Founders Day as well. And thank you for what you're doing
Thank
to
you.
preserve Black culture in the entertainment
Thank
industry.
you. And I just want to say that we are a nonprofit organization, and you can make you can make a donation. It's all tax deductible. You PO Box 7401, Atlantic City, New Jersey 08404. Our cash app is $RBPSOC 18. All donations are tax deductible and appreciated. And I appreciate being on your show. Thank you very much. Continue what you're doing with your platform. Um, let people know about Black music culture. I appreciate you, my queen. Thank you very much, and much love to you, and much success as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on the show. And we'll be definitely talking soon, Mr. Thompson.
Thank you. Peace and love. Thank you.
Right. Good night.
Good night.
All right. What an awesome conversation with Mr. Perry Thompson, a part of the Rhythm and Blues Preservation Society in Atlantic City, New Jersey. First and foremost, thank him for coming on the show tonight. What a powerful conversation. So, all of you new artists, young artists that are looking to get into the industry, just make sure that you understand the business first, because if you don't understand your contracts, um, it doesn't mean anything because you won't be making any money. So just understand your paperwork before you're actually trying to jump into this in music industry. This music industry is a very, very, very tricky business. You just have to know what you're doing before you actually jump into it. Um, Gosh, what a great conversation tonight. But thank you all so much for tuning in to Industry Conversations 101. We always have the hottest gossip here, and then also we always have the best interviews to keep you in the know about entertainment about the entertainment industry. So thank you all so much, and again, we'll see you all back here next Thursday in the new year for 2023. You all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Mwah. I love you guys. See you in 2023.